Good morning, everybody. Welcome once again to Veterans Talk. This afternoon we got a special guest with us here from Rolling Thunder, Wayne Kinney. And before we do that, I just want to give y'all a little bit of information. For those of you that don't know, the Veteran Office has moved out of the courthouse. It is no longer in the courthouse. We've moved to a ground level floor across the road from the courthouse. I think it's Babcock Furniture on one end and we're on the other end. It's kind of closest to the old, what used to be the old post office.
Right.
We've got our own parking over there and everything, and it's a lot easier for our veterans to get in for the service in which they so deserve. And we're so happy about it, and I'd like to thank the council and Rusty Smith for letting us get this done. It was something that was definitely on his agenda. Everybody's about helping veterans in Florence County, and that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
Well, Wayne, you're here from Rolling Thunder, and there's a lot of activities in town that you're involved in, and we're here to talk about a few of them.
Okay. First of all, the primary purpose of Rolling Thunder is to educate the public on POW and MIA issues, and that's what our primary purpose is. We like to or educate the public that we felt bad that there were so many veterans left behind at previous wars, and we never want that happening again. So we're involved in POW and MIA issues all the time, from national all the way down to state level.
Okay.
Around here, around in Florence and throughout Florence County and other counties, actually within the state, we do many different things. We help veterans. We get calls from the VA, as you well know, to try to help veterans if they're down on their luck and they can't afford to make ends meet. We're asked to help them out, and we do. We also get involved in or escorts for funerals, for taking veterans to their place of deployment to go overseas, or for when they come back, escorting them back home. So we do many different things like that. We have I'm a member of the PD Vet Council.
Okay.
And we get involved with the PD Vet Council with the other veterans organizations. If they have something going on, we get involved with that.
And y'all also had the monument out there that y'all started up at the Veterans Park, correct?
At Florence Veterans Park, the first monument ever put out there was the monument from POW, from Chapter 4, with the POW MIA logo on it.
Right. I remember when we had the guy that rode the bicycle.
Yeah,
You remember?
last year.
We had pictures and stuff took in front of the POW monument there and all.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
What was that? You remember what that was?
I don't, Randy.
I don't remember what the name of it was. It was something about riding across America or
He
something.
rode from California to, actually wound up in Washington, D.C. the same, in May, which is when we have our national Ride to the Wall event every year, every Memorial weekend. He was up there for that and then rode back to California. It was something about Ride to the Wall.
Yeah, it was Jeremy something. He was a football player.
Right. He was a Pittsburgh Steeler.
That's right, Pittsburgh Steeler. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know y'all are involved in a lot of activities, and one of the activities that we'll talk about a little bit is Wreaths Across America. That's activity, if anyone doesn't know, that's where you place the wreaths at the National Cemetery, and we're trying to get as many as we can. Hopefully one day we'll have a wreath for every grave. So far we haven't reached that part yet, but hopefully we will. And you're one of the organizations that takes the donations and orders the wreaths and stuff, correct? And,
Yes. We do sponsorship for Wreaths Across America. We started that back in 2005, when the first Wreaths Across America was for Florence National Cemetery. And we do it every year. We have booths set up, planning on having booths set up probably the end of September, beginning of October out at Sam's, where we take donations from the public. We are one of the 2-for-1 organizations registered with Wreaths Across America. So for every 2 wreaths that you order, you get a third one free. And the wreaths, of course, are $15 a piece. and it's whatever donation.
Right.
And like you said, our goal is to one day see every gravesite out at the National Cemetery to have a wreath on it.
That's right. And as he said, that y'all are one of the organizations that do the 2-for-1. In other words, if you order 2 with your organizations, there's a third one that's donated. Now, some organizations, if you want to take on this project and you want to try to raise some money for your own organizations, they also have a 2, and then you get a $5 donation or something that goes to your organization.
For every wreath they get $5 back. Right,
yes. Okay.
to their organization.
And while we're talking about that, there's been a little bit of, we've had little bit of a problem with some organizations, not necessarily organizations, but individuals going out in town soliciting money. People been getting stuff in the mail, and they'll call my office and say, hey, Chief, I got this here, and I want to know if it's legit and all this. I can tell you this, that most all the organizations that we know about here in Florence that are legit are members of the Veteran Council.
Definitely.
So one of the things that you could go to at any time is go to Florence County, veteranaffairs.com, and all the organizations with their commanders are listed there that we know of here in Florence. And another thing, you will never see, for example, like Rolling Thunder, like you were saying, what you'll never be doing that as an individual.
No. We never solicit funds as individuals.
Right.
We never solicit funds, period. But what we do is we set up, used to set up poker runs, and it would be for a specific mission that the organization Rolling Thunder Chapter 4 would try to collect money or get donations for a specific purpose, whether it be a veteran or one of the organizations, or
somebody with cancer or whatever.
Florence National Cemetery, the Florence Veterans Park, the upcoming Darlington Veterans Park, all those kinds of things.
And on that same token, so if you ever see someone out there trying to get donations for different organizations at one time, you can almost bet that that's not legit. In other words, if I'm standing up here and I got a booth put up that says, hey, look, I'm collecting money for the VFW, and I'm collecting money for the homeless veterans, and I'm collecting money for this and this, that's not legit. You can believe it.
No.
But talking about the things that are coming up, you've got an event coming up on September the 7th.
Correct. September 7th, the Florence County Sheriff's Office has asked Rolling Thunder Chapter 4 to lead their 8th annual benefit ride and / Patriot Day event, which is going to be on the 7th of September. As you said, it's going to start at 8:30 in the morning, registration at Darlington Racetrack. And there's going to be, it's going to be set up so that it's for motorcycles or vehicles. It doesn't have to be motorcycles. They're going to set it up for motorcycles that they can ride. I think it's one time around the track. And then I think it's 12 o'clock or around 12 o'clock, they're going to do kickstands up, and it's going to be an escorted ride, both in the air and on the ground, from Darlington Racetrack to Florence Veterans Park for a brief ceremony, I think around 25, 30 minutes. And after that ceremony, it'll be from Florence Veterans Park to Creek Rats.
Right. And I know they have some special events set up for the Veterans Park. So if someone just wants to come see the motorcycles come in and see the activities that's going on at the Veterans Park, that's a place that they could do that. And if you haven't had a chance to go to the Veterans Park, believe me, Florence has got the Veterans Park. I mean, it's
beautiful park.
We were talking earlier, Florence is a good place to live if you're a veteran.
Definitely.
You got the clinic here, you got the organizations working together and everything like that. I've go to some of these other meetings. I went to a meeting yesterday at Dorn for stakeholders, and Florence is the envy of everybody. You know, I mean,
believe it.
Yeah, because we work together.
We do. All veterans groups in Florence work together, and I think that's where the PD Veterans Council comes in a big deal.
So if you're out there and you're not a member of one of these organizations, whether it be Rolling Thunder, VFW, whatever it is, you know, you can be a member and be guaranteed that they definitely work together in this area. And we get a lot done, too.
Or even if they're not members, they can still come to the Veterans Council, and they can put something forth that they have coming up, and we usually get behind it and support it.
And that council meeting is on the third Thursday of every month at 10 o'clock at the library.
Correct.
Now, if I was wanting to become a member of Rolling Thunder, what would I do to be able to do that?
The only requirement for membership in Rolling Thunder is you must be 18 years old to be a member. We have junior members that are under 18 years old. You don't have to have a motorcycle. You can have a car. The only requirement really is that you believe and support the POW MIA issue. We meet on the last Sunday of every month at the Elks Lodge on Jody Road. Our meetings are at 2:30 in the afternoon. And if you're interested in becoming or coming out to see what we do and who we are, we meet, like I said, the last Sunday of every month, and anyone is welcome to attend our meetings.
That's good. That's good stuff y'all do. And you also are willing to go out and help schools or anyone else that wants to do these ceremonies with the flags and the POW ceremonies, correct?
Correct. And what we'll do, like we have one coming up the end of September for the VFW. The VFW, we're going to be doing a POW MIA flag ceremony where we're going to put the POW MIA flag back up at the VFW, and we're going to do a whole ceremony that's going to be with it. We're going to also have the JROTC involved in that, and possibly have the missing man table, which is a fabulous ceremony to watch. Have the missing man table set up out there.
Right. I know they had a missing man table at the VFW at one time, but I haven't seen it lately. I think is it still there? Do you know? Or
I think they still have some of the materials there.
Some of the materials, but not the whole setup.
Right.
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 Now, with the funerals and stuff, y'all do everybody sees the motorcycles coming down the road with the flags on them and stuff like that. Now, do y'all just do POWs, or is but it's usually always veterans, correct?
It's always veterans.
Right.
That's all that our organization, Rolling Thunder, that's all we do is veterans. We only cater to veterans for that type ceremony. And that's, as you know, being a veteran and being a retired chief, that's the last honor that I feel that we can give a veteran, is when the veteran's remains is going to any cemetery. It doesn't have to be the National Cemetery, but any cemetery, to provide honors to that veteran and family, in ways of being an escort and setting up flag lines at the cemetery for the ceremony at the cemeteries.
Yeah, because I know y'all were involved in the ones where they just had the indigent vets and stuff come out of Horry County. Luckily, knock on wood, that we don't have any of them in Florence County.
Exactly.
You know, working with the coroner's office and everything, hopefully we can prevent that from happening. But y'all are definitely very active in a lot of veterans activities and stuff throughout the area.
And the one that kind of really touched my heart at the National Cemetery, not just the indigent vets, but the one we had for veterans who had no families,
Yes.
that had no ceremony per se at the National Cemetery. We did that one mass ceremony for all of those veterans, and I believe Carolyn wants to do that twice a year.
Right. Carolyn had set that up for the first time this year, and I don't know if she's decided to do it twice a year or once a year. Hopefully we can get her back on here sometime or another and get that information out to everyone. Now, real quick though, getting back while we're talking about the cemetery, I think one of the things that we needed to touch on with the wreaths was, if you have a loved one that's at the cemetery and you want to do a Pacific wreath for that individual, can they also do that with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All they have to do is on our form sheet, they just fill out the veteran's name. They don't have to know the lot or the grave number. We can go to the kiosk and get that information. If they have it, that's fine. But put the loved one or next of kin's name or family member's name on that sheet, and we'll make sure that grave gets a wreath.
Now, if I wanted to do one, how would I get in contact with you or someone to do that? Could they just use the number that we've got on the website for the Rolling Thunder?
Yes.
So
Yes.
just go to the website there, Florence County Veteran Affairs, look under resources and look under Rolling Thunder, and they got a website and everything there, and the commander's number and all's there.
Correct.
Well, tell us a little bit about your naval career.
Well, I served in the Navy from 1971 to 1994. My first 8 years were as a Navy corpsman. I was attached with I went to Corps School and then went to Field Medical Service School and was attached with Force Recon with the Marine Corps. After I did my time for that part of my career, I got out and I stayed in the active reserves, and I came back in 18 months. And when I came back in as a personnelman. Okay. And I retired as personnelman, chief personnelman.
And you told me earlier you was a personnel man instead of a yeoman because of what?
Because I liked working with the enlisted.
So if anybody don't know that, back in them days, a yeoman worked with officers and a personnelman worked with the enlisted. Okay.
That's right. We took care of our own.
That's it. And we still are. That's a good thing.
That's
Still
right.
taking care of our own. Well, is there anything else here that you would like to make sure we get put out before
One
the show
other
comes
thing
on?
we have coming up, Randy, besides the sheriff's benefit ride in September, Darlington County is opening up a Veterans Park.
Okay.
And they're going to dedicate their Veterans Park on November 9th. We have been invited to be part of that ceremony, and we look forward to having another Veterans Park locally in the area. I think they're trying to emulate a little off of Florence, where they will have wall and they will have bricks with individuals' names, but it's also going to be a walking park.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to doing that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I get a call a lot of times for people wanting to know how can they get their loved one or their father, their grandfather or whatever on the wall at Florence, or and I imagine Darlington too. But the one in Florence, if you get a hold to the Recreations Department, they had the brochures there to where just make sure you need to get a copy of their DD 214. If you don't have that, once again, you can come to our office and we can try to help you with that. And once again, we moved, in case you missed the first of the show, we're no longer in the courthouse. We're across the road from the courthouse at 145 North Irby Street, right beside where the old post office was. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching today's show, and once again, thank Francis Marin for letting us get this information out to our veterans. And it's good to be a veteran and live in Florence.